Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Technical difficulties. The lovely thing about Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're live. Hi, everybody. This is Daniel Garza, and welcome to another episode of Put It Together Conversations. I'm your host, Daniel G. Garza. My guest today is Mr. Johnny Schaefer. Let me make sure, as always, with all of our new ways of interviewing people and making sure that we're live broadcasting, uh, Zoom sometimes plays tricks on us. So I want to make sure that you guys are watching us. So if there we are. Let me go ahead and share this to all our other pages. So for anybody out there who is watching us right now, if you would like to share this on your pages so people can watch us live. Um, I'm so excited, first of all, that we are in our 8th season of Put It Together podcast. And because of everything that's going on around us, we are taking it to video. We are now broadcasting in video, and you can go to the Put It Together podcast on Abnormal Entertainment to catch the audio. But you can watch it here live. So remember, every Saturdays, our usual time is 5 o'clock, but we wanted to make sure we talked to Mr. Johnny today, and we're doing a special one for him. Only for you, Johnny. I'm only doing this for you. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm good. I realize this is the third time we worked together in an interview.
It is. This
Uh,
video.
for those of you that remember, Johnny was a guest on my show first, and then in the launch of one of your albums, I went to your place and did an interview for you, and
Yep.
that was so cool. It's really humbly I say this. It's really cool when people call you back and say, "Hey, I like the way you do your job. Can you come and talk to me?" And that was really great. For
You're doing
those of you that,
good stuff.
I'm sorry.
You're doing so much great stuff.
Thank
So
you. I appreciate it. You know what? I'm 5'6" and I try to make my mark everywhere I go. That's the reality of it. For those of you that are not familiar with Johnny Schaefer is a singer-songwriter. He's been singing pretty much his whole life. He wrote his first song when he was 4 years old. He has a degree in voice and composition from Cal State University in Fullerton. He's done background singing for Melissa Manchester, Josh Groban, Sarah Brightman, Diana Carroll, and many, many others. And what don't you do, Mr. Johnny Schaefer?
well, it's kind of interesting. I did have a day job until last year, and I was in senior management in a financial institution, and there was a huge seismic change in the upper management there, and so I was the last man standing, and it was pretty clear they wanted their own team and all that. So I decided, I'm 58, and I've wanted since I was 4 years old to be a singer-songwriter and really get into the music. And my husband and I had just sold our house, so we didn't have any debt. So it was just a really good time to take the leap and dive into the music full time. And it's been incredible. I've been surrounded by really phenomenal musicians and people in the industry who can prop me up and kind of help me through some things. I'm practicing piano frantically to finally get where I could accompany myself, in live gigs and things like that. So I'm um, really branching out and really writing a lot and been recording a lot. So decided to release a series of singles. And so the first one is Unflown that we just released yesterday. So I'm really excited.
Yeah. Um, Now, I know for those of you that were not part of the original interview we did, I will be relaunching that so you guys can catch up on Johnny Schaefer. But for those folks that are singers who do background for other singers, is there is there a learning is there a learning lesson in being background singers?
You mean in terms of singing backup versus singing the lead?
Yeah, was there's is that like a live classroom? Is there things that you can learn from singing background?
Well, singing in choirs helped me a lot.
Okay.
I started singing my dad was a preacher, so I sang in church growing up, and then I joined choir in school, and you really get to learn harmonies, how to blend with other people, how to harmonize. And then my choir connections actually got me most of the backup gigs that I got. I knew people who sang with Josh or Sarah Brightman, and then uh, when the gigs came up, the guy who contracted them, Joe Medica, really great guy, he contacted me, and because I'd done all that singing, in choirs and being able to, you know, sing harmony in different parts. I'm a bass baritone, so there are less of us than tenors, which helps me because the lower voices are a little more in demand. So yeah, I think part of it is you network. People in choirs know each other, and so I have lots of friends, and the connections have really helped.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, because and I'm using background because I'm an actor and I keep thinking background, but it's backups. I know some of you are gonna be like, "Okay, what are you talking about, Garza?" I know it's backups, not backgrounds. Um,
So it's funny.
but and also I want to invite anybody watching, if you have any questions for Johnny, please feel free to join him in the comments. I am keeping an eye on the comments, so if you have a question, please feel free. Um, so before we show the song, what, because of the show, how did you put it together?
You know, getting back to my story for my last year and a half of my life, I feel like I kind of got a jump start on the quarantine thing because of what happened with my work. And once COVID hit, so many people I know have been really impacted. A lot of people losing their jobs, so much uncertainty, particularly a lot of musicians. Things dried up, for doing live gigs, and so a lot of musicians are really struggling right now. And I wrote this song Unflown kind of as a pep talk to myself, but I feel like it's a pretty universal message, and I think it would probably lift a lot of people up, and that's the feedback I'm getting. It was just sort of um, it uses the analogy of having, like, what if you woke up with wings, one morning, would I be afraid to fly? Would I actually have the confidence to use them? And what would the other, how would I be, would the other birds be welcoming? And so that was kind of where I went with it. And I tried to use that as an analogy for a lot of us. If we do things a lot and we interact in the world, opportunities come up for us. And when they come, sometimes we freeze up and can't seize the opportunities. So this song is about finding that inner strength, and when the opportunities come, embracing that and letting your wings spread and flying.
And what an opportune song and message. A lot of us, and I'll say us, a lot of us, the lockdowns came in and we were used to, for instance, myself, used to being out, interviewing people, talking, going to auditions, doing stand-up, whatever. That
Mhm.
was all in the public. And as soon as they said you can't leave your house, uh, it's a little tailspin. And what am I going to do now? And um, the idea, I think, for a lot of us was like, what if I woke up one day and I could just go do again anything I wanted? What would I do? And for me, the question, as I was reading the lyrics, for me the question was like, if I grew wings right now, if I was given permission to do anything I wanted right now, would I go back to do the things that I was doing before, or would I challenge myself to try something different, even if it's scary? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, and that's the opportunity now. We can all we I think a lot of us have really been rethinking our lives and saying, the slate's kind of clean here. What can I do differently and do better? And can I really actually pursue my passions on what's really important in life? And I think a lot of people are getting more clarity about that right now.
Um, was there something like I know you talked about how the song can be, but what was there an inspiration? Was there something that you focused on to get you the lyrics?
Well, I get a lot of my ideas around 3 a.m. I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and there's something about that hour. A lot of people talk about that there's kind of a magic hour for inspiration. And so this song came to me lying in bed at 3 a.m. I woke up and it just, I don't know why, but the thought of, wow, if I literally woke up with wings, what would that feel like? And I just started exploring it in my mind, and I right away realized that I think that image came to me because of what was going on in my life, because I think I've held myself back at times in my life. Opportunities did come up and I squandered them. I sabotaged things that could have been really great for me. And I thought, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. And so I kind of, I keep my phone by my bed and I have a little tape recorder on it and I run into the other bedroom so I don't wake my husband up if I can help it. And then I sing whatever ideas I have. Sometimes the next morning I wake up and I go, what was that? Like it's, but a lot of times it's like this song, almost the whole thing came to me the first night, although it went through a lot of changes, like, tweaking and that, but the basic shell of the song came to me in one night. So,
Well, one of the benefits of interviewing folks is that you get to see the lyrics before you guys get to hear it. So the one that got to me is the lyric says, "If we keep searching without finding, time to take a higher view. When the road gets long and winding, we'll fly as crows and eagles do." Now, before you tell us your meaning behind that, um, for me, as I was listening to that lyric, um, it kind of like what you were saying right now is like all these opportunities that came up in my life at a certain point, and I didn't take them. Um, I was so narrow-minded sometimes in the way that I looked at life that I didn't look at the opportunities on the side, like the little detours that you could have taken, the little extra things I could have done in life, and I didn't do them. And I'll be turning 50 this year, so I think I'm going through midlife crisis, basically what it is. But it really touched me to thinking when things got a little tough for me along the way, when roads got long and winding, I was like, nope, nope, nope. I'm going back to the safe zone. I'm going back to my comfort zone. Um, and now I feel like I want to fly. I want to be that crow. I want to be that eagle, and like see the bigger picture. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know what your intention was.
yeah, yeah, and it's interesting. Uh, my parents live up in Washington, Olympia, Washington, and I live in Pasadena. So a lot of times we'll drive up there. And sometimes we've taken the 101, which is meandering and it goes through the forest and kind of weaves. Takes a lot longer. It's very beautiful, but you can go along the coast and see the Oregon coast is stunning and Northern California coast. So beautiful. Um, and sometimes seeing all that stuff, there are a lot of diversions and we would stop and hike and things like that. But you can really get caught up in the minutia of all the things that are right there. And sometimes you need to get there. We got news that my stepdad didn't have long to live, so we needed to get up to Washington fast. So we took the 5 and went through the valley and got there quick. Flying would have been faster, but we didn't feel comfortable with that because of COVID. So they always talk about, there's that expression, as the crow flies. So I wanted to kind of, and the long and winding road was a little nod to the Beatles. But then I wanted to talk about, how sometimes we have to pull back and see things, get a different perspective. You can just get so wrapped up in what's immediately around you. It was interesting because when I was working, that job was the whole world, and it was like this box. And I was doing music, but I wasn't. It became so important that it zapped all my energy, and it took everything, and I was losing sight of everything else. And when I pulled back, I saw the world was so much bigger than what I had let it become for me. And so when you pull back, you can see all your options and see all the people that are around that can help you and different ways to get there. And so for me, that wanted to try to convey that in that part of the song.
All right. So how about we give folks a little sample of the song? Are you
Okay.
ready? All right, cool. So we're going to share this stuff. Hold on, folks, because you know how technology works nowadays. And all right, guys, we're just going to give you a little sample because we want you to go to YouTube and find it. So when this is over, you guys can go check it out. I'll be putting the link up. We want you to go and check it out. We want those numbers on YouTube. I want to. The visuals are amazing, and we want to give credit where credit is due for this. This was edited by Siren Art Productions, if I'm correct.
Yeah, my husband Paco, and then his business partner is Daniel Henry Smith, and they form Siren Arts, and they do a lot of video production. And Paco brought Daniel in for post production. He also helped with some of the filming, the shots of me. They played a lot with the lighting to get the effects of, sometimes where part of my face is showing and then part of it has the images behind it. And so they played around with the lighting a lot to be able to really maximize that effect. And I think they did a beautiful job on it.
Cheers to Paco and Daniel. And with a name like Daniel, it's gonna be amazing.
There you go.
I'm just say that out there. So if you are, we want to make sure that you guys pay attention to the details of the video. So if you are in need of any editing or video directing needs, check out Siren Art Productions, and we'll make sure to put out their links out in the Putting Together podcast page. So go check it out. I have to applaud you, man. I mean, I've heard you sing before, but if I dare say, this is my favorite of anything I've heard you sing. And I am a big fan of your Christmas stuff. But there's, and I'm gonna throw out musical terms like I know what I'm talking about. So bear with me, folks. But there's this, is it bravado? Like that
Yeah.
Man. And for those of you that know me and follow me for a while, and this is why this song really touched me. For those of you that have been following, my mom passed away August 7th, so it's very recent. And I always felt like my mom didn't take enough chances in life and accomplish. But who am I to judge? Maybe she took the chances she needed to. But I always thought my mom was so amazing and had so much potential and could have done. And I always wondered if she grew up one day, if she woke up one day and had wings and could do whatever she wanted, what would she do? So it made me think of her. So it really got to me. But I again, I love all your stuff, but this song, I just feel like there's this, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like there was this growth in you? Maybe spiritual growth?
Yeah, the whole last year has been about growing in a lot of ways. I would say musically, I worked a lot. I was classically trained, so my earlier stuff, I had a lot. I had a lot more, less control of my vibrato. I was using it in everything. Now I'm much more selective about when I use my vibrato and using straight tone in places so that it's kind of expanding the palette. And I think it's a lot more effective. I started out almost whispering in a really hushed tone, and that was new for me because I was trained to always use my full voice and really sing out. And it's been about learning how to choose how much air I put in and how loudly I sing at different spots. And when I learned a lot from Ricky Lee Jones, she's one of my favorite singers, and a lot of times she really almost whispers the song, and it just brings so much emotion. So that's how I chose to start out and then kind of build. And then in terms of emotional growth, absolutely. I'm so sorry to hear about your mom. My stepdad passed a month ago, and my husband and I were able to be there with him in Olympia, Washington when that happened. And then my mom's in hospice. She's on her fourth battle with cancer. So we're going to be heading back up there to be with her. And so you get a lot of clarity when you're dealing with that with people you love, and it helps you really think about what matters and how can I really take advantage of every moment.
I want to, before we continue, I want to acknowledge the people watching. Tony Gala, who is also a singer and friend of mine, um, he says, "Don't die wondering, dance to the music in you." And I was like,
Oh, that's great.
that's put that on a T-shirt. We're gonna put that on a T-shirt for you guys. Um, you talk, and the first time that I met you and we talked about getting into really your passion later in life and really going after what, especially right now, and we talked about this earlier, right now that we're going through this change, everybody has an opportunity to redo themselves. What words of wisdom do you have for somebody that's keeping that secret singer inside of them?
Don't wait. There's that Nike thing, just do it. Just start doing it. Don't wait another day. Don't put it off. Don't let, there's a line in the song, don't let fears mean flights unflown. And don't let your fears keep you from flying. Just start doing it. Um, if it's music, start singing every day. If you want to write music, write every day. If you want to get better at singing, join a choir, get a good coach, or if you're playing an instrument, whatever it is, or it applies to other things too. I have friends who are artists, visual artists. You know, um, Paco loved photography, my husband, and he was always taking pictures and everything, and then he just started diving in, and most of what he does, and I think his video skills are pretty amazing. He's done most of it by going online and watching tutorials. There's so much stuff on YouTube that you can just go in and learn it. And with every video he makes, he tries something new, and then he learns it while he's doing it. So all
Yep.
this stuff with the double exposure, that was all trial and error. And fortunately, we had a lot of time with COVID where he was really able to dig in, and it was it was really beautiful. And I think he learned a lot that he can apply now to his next project.
And I've had the pleasure of meeting Paco, so bravo, Paco, for what you did. It's amazing. It's an amazing video. We only gave you like a minute of it. You've got to go watch the rest of it. Um, there is another line, and I think this kind of sums up what you were just saying. Don't let anyone you pass say you were too afraid to fly. Oh man, I was like, come on, who writes this stuff? Johnny Schaefer writes this stuff, folks. Um, I applaud you. I've known you for a while now. I was a fan of yours from the beginning. I definitely believe that this is like a next level in your career, and I'm here to cheer you on. Um, how has the virtual music tour gone? Because now everybody's interviewing virtual. You don't visit anybody.
Oh yeah, yeah. I did a similar interview yesterday with Jamie Garza. He's Garza. There you go.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, no. I'm
What
sorry. Not Garza. Sorry. No. Uh, I'm drawing a blank.
We'll find them.
Yeah, yeah. No. Not Garza. I have another friend named Jamie Garza. But no. Jamie. He's a phenomenal guy. And why am I blanking on his last? Glazer. Jamie Glazer. He's gonna kill me. But yeah, I did an interview with him, and he's a longtime musician, incredible rock guitarist, and he writes a lot of music for the NFL, and he interviewed me on his channel yesterday, and I did a couple of videos from the house, just singing kind of karaoke style to a couple of my tracks. I have a big band song called Snuggle. You can find that on YouTube that we just played around with. We're gonna flesh that one out a little bit more with a real big band once we're able to do that. So I'm pretty eclectic. I try different things. I don't want to get stuck in a box. And so if you hear my music, I'm all over the place.
Nice.
I've sung with harp and cello, and I've done some techno stuff and everything in between. So it's just about using all the crayons in the box for me, and trying something. I already did that. Let me try something else. So that's kind of where I come from.
And as the holidays are approaching, folks, go and find his Christmas album, which is really funny because Johnny put up a challenge on his Facebook page and said, if you Google Johnny Schaefer, what comes up? And my Google search, what came up was the Christmas songs. And I was like, oh, cool. Like Christmas in July, because this was a while back. And I was like, Christmas, July, awesome.
Yeah, it was Alexa, say play Johnny Schaefer, or Siri, play Johnny Schaefer, and
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's what it was.
it all came back like all it was all over the map. So
Tony Gala is asking, do you have any Spanish songs in your repertoire?
it's funny because with Paco, I listen to a lot of Spanish music. My song "Little Bits of Heaven" has a Spanish verse in it, and we've talked about doing some translations and recording versions of songs in Spanish. Unflown is one of the ones that we're talking about doing that with. So I hope to get into that more. I'm actually learning Spanish. I got an app, and that's another thing I've been doing with COVID is
Nice.
finally, being able to talk to my family down in Mexico now that I'm connected with Paco. So yeah, but Little Bits of Heaven has a verse in Spanish on it. That's on my Acoustic Remedy album. And everything's on hearjohnny.com, all the links to Spotify and iTunes and wherever you listen to music. And I'm on most of the streaming sites and then YouTube. So
Cool. Thank you. That was my next question. Make sure to get. But remember, everybody, if you're not connected to Put It Together podcast, go find us. I will put the link, and you can like us, because I know I'm sure there's other pages, but find us. I will also post Johnny's website so you can check out all of his music. Any last messages before we sign off, Johnny?
I just want to thank you for all that you do. You cover such important topics in such a way that makes people comfortable to hear them talked about. And I think that's such a gift. And so I'm so grateful for all that you do and for the opportunity you've given me to come on and share my music with people. So
Well, thank you. Well, I'm a fan, and thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. One of the things that I've been doing is perfectioning my interviewing styles and make sure that I make it very unique to Daniel G. Garza. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. And thank you for thinking of me when you wanted to do your tour. It's an honor when people, like I said, when people call you back and say, hey, I want to be on your show. So thank you for that.
I thought of you right away.
For everybody watching, we've been talking to singer-songwriter Johnny Schaefer. His new song, Unflown, is out on YouTube already. So go check that out. If you're just tuning in right now, rewind and catch the first minute and a half, and then go to YouTube and listen to the rest.
And comments and likes and stuff help on YouTube a lot. They've kind of buried the comments. If you subscribe to my channel, that helps. Follow on Spotify or wherever it is. But all those things really help, and not just for me, but any musicians you love. Really support them that way. When their videos come out, take the time to comment, like it, share it, all that.
Yes, and If you're not a fan of my page yet, go to Daniel G. Garza on YouTube and subscribe, and you'll get all these videos when they come out. Again, we want to thank Johnny Schaefer with his new song, Unflown. Go check it out. We want to congratulate the guys over at Siren Art Productions, Paco and Daniel, for the amazing work they did on this video. And we want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Johnny. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
A shout out to my producer Stefan Oberhoff too. He
Oh,
has coming out this weekend as well. So
awesome. Thank you, Stefan, for putting out this amazing work. For now, I want to thank you all for watching. This is Daniel G. Garza saying, hey, put it together. See you next time.